Hello, hi and welcome. Has anyone seen this before? I heard the term rhythm players use chords, lead players use scales. What the fuck is that about? I'm here to tell you that's wrong way to look at it, and it's going to limit you. Now, rather than learning scales in every single position up the neck, which people will advise you to do it, and I'm not saying it's wrong technically, I don't think it's the best way to learn it. If you play out the chords, you're going to naturally know where it all is anyway. So we give the scales, rather than thinking A sharp, A blah 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 blah, we give our scale, our chord tones numbers. So scales are numbered 1 to 7, and then we get our 8, the octave. When we play triads, that's using the root, 5th and 3rd of that chord. So, in harmonic minor, we can extend these to 4-note chords, but I'm only going to keep it to 3 just now, and we'll still have that harmonic sound, because when we get to the 5, you're going to see, so rather than this, we're going to do this. Right, the mafia's coming. In that chord, our major 3rd is the note that defines, or we changed to make the minor scale the harmonic minor scale. Not that one, that one. It's a pentatonic. Right. So, the triads, or before I say that, if we outline this shape when the 4 chord comes about, we're hitting that note that's in the scale, but we're hitting it at the right time, but it really matters. Now on the 4 chord, going back to the 1, it matters. On the 5 chord, going back to the 1, it matters. And going from the 1 to the 5, it matters, right? Most. And I'll show you why. Right, so, but first, if you don't know your triad shapes, I'm going to show you them just now, right? Don't freak out. Here we go. It's a bit of theory. So that's your, we're going to treat this as our first A minor shape, right? We could be there, right? Could be there. A. And so there's 3 shapes that I call, these are called inversions. So, our root's on a high E string. There's our 5th, there's our minor 3rd. Naming the notes, 1, 5, 3. And in that order, it would be. Right, and then on here, there's our next A shape. It appears like that D minor shape here. And then up here, the next shape. And then it would just repeat. So all in all. Right, so I've got a dead fret. When we go to D, there's our first D note there. There's our 5th in the G. There's our minor 3rd there. And then we have that diagonal shape for our G string root. And then we have, if you look at the bottom half of this chord, have it there. So when we get to this dominant sound, we replace the root with that 7. So if this was your first E triad, so we've got this E note, right? You can just use this, because look, that major 3rd is in just a simple E triad. But if you wanted to really do it, you could, if that's our E string root, it's going from the 5 to the 1. So those first shapes appear in the same pattern. So it, like, although they start in different positions, D, back to A. this, but that's so you can see where they are. And then when we get the E, these are major now. If it was just a basic triad, we're not adding in that flat seventh, because it's the major third note, this one, that we really want to bring out the changes. We can just flatten that root, but I'll show you the basic triads first. Here's your first one. I mean, you could use the bottom half of that, but we'll stick to this, because I like using ones that are, you're fretting, I'm not using open strings, because then you can use them in every key. And if you flatten that, there you go. In this shape here, if you imagine this E shape, that's the bottom half of that. Again, there's your E root. And then, if you know this, the bottom half of that. Root notes on the high E, but we could flatten it. There's that note, the major third. So we're going to play through the changes just using those triads, which we don't want to sound like a robot, but this is just for the purposes of showing you these triads. So A, just in this position, where's the nearest D minor shape to that that's going to highlight the notes in the chord? And then we need that E shape. Right. So if we started mapping them out everywhere, that they're under your fingers, and then you just visualise this scale over the top of everything. If you can spend some time on your own, just doing that slowly and playing with those chords, scales, they all come from the same place. All these chords here come from that harmonic minor scale. Especially, and that's the great one that, so a harmonic minor blues, if you want to sound clever, flatten that, you can make it a seventh. Great little cadence. Targeting the minor, the third of that D. We'll try it somewhere else. Here's a A minor shape. That's the fifth of this D minor. Flat fifth, flatten that fifth. And you can, sometimes it's nice if you finish, just run up your triads to reaffirm them to yourself. Now that's that's nothing flashy, but chord grips show you your triads. Yeah, knowing your chords and inversions all over the neck, and then maybe if you've been like me, you spent a long time just playing this. I always played my changes here. Start playing them other places. When and you can start learning other positions of it. This is where knowing the notes of the fretboard will help you. So you could be playing it, even if you're playing rhythm. The more places you can play that same progression, you'll never ever get lost, and you can always look ahead. If I was playing A minor here, where's that next D triad? Well, there. I hope that helps. As always, ask some questions, anything I can help with, I'd be happy to. Thank you.